Hello and welcome to Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us take a look at the headlines first. The 102nd session of Indian Science Congress successfully concluded. Cabinet approves the setting up of India-based neutrino observatory. Students of IIT Madras set to launch their own satellite. Researchers discover novel antibiotics to fight superbugs. Hubble telescope completes 25 years. And in today's In Focus, we will discuss about the scientific challenges that we will face during 2015. And now news in details. The 102nd session of Indian Science Congress successfully concluded at Mumbai. About 1,200 national and international researchers participated in the event to discuss various aspects of science and technology. The Indian Science Congress is a major and prestigious scientific platform which plays a crucial role in deciding the scientific policies of the country.
The 102nd annual session of Indian Science Congress has successfully concluded in Mumbai on 7th January 2015. The 5 days long event that started on 3rd January saw the participation of 15,000 plus delegates and 6 Nobel laureates and 4 other laureates who came together to discuss various aspects of science and technology. The 102nd Indian Science Congress, themed Science and Technology for Human Development, was organized at the Mumbai University campus. The mega event of Indian science, inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, consisted of many sessions wherein world-renowned researchers presented their views and findings on issues ranging from agriculture to space science. Additionally, several symposia on relevant themes, Women's Science Congress, Children's Science Congress, Science Exhibition, etc. were also organized during the 5 days of deliberations and discussions. Speaking on the Congress, Honorable Prime Minister called for efforts to ensure that science, technology and innovation reach the poorest, the remotest and the most vulnerable people. During the valedictory function that marked the conclusion of the 102nd Indian Science Congress, Uttar Pradesh Governor and Chief Guest of the event, Sri Ram Nayak, released a souvenir for the Indian Science Congress. He also facilitated winners of Young Scientist Awards for the year 2014-15 in the field of agricultural and forestry science, animal husbandry, embryology, chemical sciences, engineering sciences, environmental sciences, mineral sciences, medical sciences, new biology, physical and plant sciences. The award carried a citation with Rs 25,000 each. Indian Science Congress is a premier event conducted annually by the Indian Science Congress Association. The association started in the year 1914 in Kolkata and it meets annually in the first week of January every year. Today, it has membership strength of more than 30,000 scientists. The first meeting of the Indian Science Congress was held from 15th to the 17th of January 1914 at the premises of the Asiatic Society, Calcutta.
India will soon see the setting of an international neutrino observatory in Tamil Nadu. The cabinet recently approved the setting up of India-based neutrino observatory. Here is a report.
In a major turn of scientific events geared up for the year 2015, the cabinet has approved the setting up of India-based neutrino observatory project. Shortly known as the INO project, the India-based neutrino observatory is an ambitious fundamental physics project that is planned to be set up near Pottipuram village in the Bodhi West Hills of Theni district in Tamil Nadu. The project has an estimated budget outlay of 1,500 crore rupees. The project will be jointly supported by the Department of Atomic Energy and the Department of Science and Technology. The infrastructural support will be given by the Government of Tamil Nadu. The project is being directed by Professor Nabha Mondal from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. This will be the first biggest basic science experimental project in the country that aims at building a world-class underground laboratory primarily to study neutrinos. INO is an underground project that will comprise a complex of caverns, the main cavern which will house a detector which is 130 meters long, 26 meters wide and 30 meters high. The system is designed to host experiments such as the neutrino-less double beta decay and the search for dark matter. A giant 50,000-ton magnetized iron calorimeter detector will be kept under the laboratory to study the properties of neutrinos. The INO project aims to study neutrinos, which are fundamental particles belonging to the lepton family, and will also focus on the development of detector technology and its varied applications. India is also seeking international participation in the project. With the implementation of this project, India will soon join the global high-end scientific neutrino club.
Students of IIT Madras are engaged in the creation of a novel satellite which is expected to be launched into space by ISRO next year. The satellite is said to be very different from the previous student-created satellites and will possess unique features. Here is more.
Actively partaking in the excitement of science, young students of the Indian Institute of Technology Madras are all set to launch their own satellite. Students have developed a nano satellite under a project called IIT MS-80 project. IIT MS-80 project, the student-led nano satellite initiative of IIT Madras that began in January 2010, has entered the final stage of integration and validation. The satellite is estimated to be ready for launch by the Indian Space Research Organisation by the end of 2015 or by next year. ISRO has reviewed and assessed the project, and in this context, a MOU has been signed between IITM and ISRO. IIT MS-80 is a low Earth orbit satellite weighing 12.5 kg and with a mission life of 1 year and payload which is a high-energy particle detector.
The IIT Madras Student Satellite Project started in the year 2010. The idea was that the students would build a satellite of the form factor of a 1 foot by 1 foot cube, and in that would be a payload which would be a high energy particle detector. The idea is that they would launch the satellite as a low Earth orbit satellite, and then the payload would be used primarily for detecting any anomalous precipitation of high energy protons and electrons from the Van Allen belts.
The satellite will orbit the Earth at an altitude of 600 to 900 km and collect data about the precipitation of high-energy electrons and protons from the Van Allen belts in the upper ionosphere. The project aims to bring together students from various disciplines together to build a complete satellite system along with a complex payload. The project also involves setting up a ground station designed and operated by students for analysis of the data collected by the satellite. According to the sources, about 90 students from various disciplines are currently working on the project. Needless to say, the project not only provides a great learning opportunity to students, but also, once successful, will add one more feather to the cap of glorious achievements of IIT Madras.
Drug-resistant strains of microorganisms have emerged as a huge health threat in the past years. Now, in a major discovery, researchers have found out a new antibiotic called Teixobactin that will kill a wide range of drug-resistant bacteria and help fight drug-resistant infections. Here is more.
The last few years have seen many reports of diseases like totally drug-resistant tuberculosis and incidents of infections by so-called superbugs incurable by existing drugs on the rise. It is evident that years of indiscriminate use of antibiotics have resulted in the serious antibiotic resistance among microbes. Antibiotic resistance has today emerged as a major healthcare threat, often more serious than the infection itself, and has baffled the scientists regarding discovery of new and effective drugs. Now, in a major scientific breakthrough, scientists have discovered a new class of antibiotics that can be used to fight drug-resistant infections. The new antibiotic called Teixobactin has been discovered by a team of researchers from the Antimicrobial Discovery Center at Northeastern University in Boston, United States, under the guidance of Dr. Kim Lewis, in collaboration with a Massachusetts-based company, Novobiotic, and researchers at the University of Bonn. Generally, antibiotics are isolated from bacteria or fungi that can be grown in laboratories. This is just 1% of the total microbial population that produces antibiotics. The device sandwiches the bugs between two permeable sheets. It is then pushed back into the ground where the microbes grow into colonies. The researchers found that after 2 weeks in the ground, the microbial colonies had grown enough to run tests on them. Teixobactin kills a wide range of drug-resistant bacteria, including methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus and bugs that cause TB and a host of other life-threatening infections. It is expected that human clinical trials of the drug could begin within 2 years to check its safety and efficacy. Scientists are working towards developing oral pills of the compound.
The famous Hubble Space Telescope in 2015 completes 25 years in orbit. Since its launch, that space telescope has aided in many exciting discoveries and has been helping us gather dramatic images of space and celestial objects. In this special segment, we will provide you an overview of the scientific journey of the Hubble telescope.
With the arrival of 2015, the space telescope Hubble celebrates its 25th year in space. In 1990, the Hubble Space Telescope was launched into its orbit around the Earth. Over the past 2 decades, the world has witnessed the journey of Hubble while it enabled us to see the unseen, unknown parts of the universe through its images. It all began in 1923 like a fiction when the famous rocket scientist Dr. Hermann Oberth first published an article speculating on telescopes in orbit. Years later, in 1969, the National Academy of Sciences published the scientific use of the Large Space Telescope and approved the telescope project. In 1990, in a historic feat, the Hubble Space Telescope was launched aboard Space Shuttle Discovery into an orbit 350 miles above Earth. Since the last 25 years, Hubble telescope has made major contributions to space research. According to reports, since its launch, the telescope has observed more than 30,000 celestial objects and clicked more than 570,000 pictures of space. Its first discovery came when the Hubble telescope, immediately after its launch, resolved a ring of material around supernova 1987A. In 1992, Hubble identified intergalactic clouds followed by protoplanetary disks in the Orion Nebula in 1993. In 1994, Hubble provided a detailed view of the comet Shoemaker-Levy collision with Jupiter. This was a definitive confirmation of the existence of supermassive black holes. The telescope also revealed details of Pluto's surface and captured a close-up look at jets and disks in young stellar objects. In 1995, Hubble allowed the researchers to see a brown dwarf star clearly for the first time. In 1996, Hubble resolved host galaxies of quasar followed by exotic populations of stars in globular clusters in 1997. In 1998, in yet another observation, Hubble provided the deepest views of the universe. Hubble observations have also allowed astronomers to refine the universe's expansion rate to within 10% accuracy. With its immense contributions, Hubble is applauded worldwide as one of the most precise scientific instruments ever made. As world hails 25 years of the Hubble telescope in space, it is expected that Hubble will contribute to many more discoveries in future that will further our understanding of the universe and space.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be right back. Keep watching Science Monitor. Now, the year 2014 has been significant in terms of scientific achievements as well as scientific publications. The year 2014 has also been highly productive for Indian science. We have seen the achievements in science during 2014 at global and national level in our past episodes. Now, progressing along these lines, let us see the major scientific challenges that await us in the year 2015. What scientific mysteries are likely to be unraveled in 2015? Let us see in today's In Focus.
"2014 indeed was a great year in terms of scientific achievements, both for the world as well as for India. With innovations like 3D printing and probes landing on comets during 2014, it is expected that 2015 will be a year of bigger and more novel discoveries that will have a huge impact on the world we live in. While we saw the achievements in science and technology at the global and national level in the past few episodes, let us discuss the scientific challenges that await us in 2015. According to the prestigious scientific journal Nature, 2015 will be a year of great scientific achievements. Further, it is stated that the achievements will begin in March with the restart of the Large Hadron Collider of CERN under the project that aims to discover the origin of the universe. 2015 is also expected to be a major turning point in terms of environment conservation. In 2014, US and China were identified as the largest emitters of carbon. It is expected that during 2015, both the countries will adopt major steps towards reduction of the carbon emissions that will have an impact on the world climate. The UN conference to be held in Paris in December 2015 is likely to pave for crucial international collaborations in the area of environment protection. While 2014 has been a year of achievements, it also saw infections like Ebola claiming many lives. Ebola has become a major health issue and one of the most infectious and currently incurable epidemics, primarily in West African countries like Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. Tackling Ebola is a major challenge of 2015. With intensive R&D going on in this area, we can expect that 2015 will bring new vaccines and drugs that will help us control and cure this deadly disease. On the global space arena, the American space agency NASA's space probe Dawn-S is expected to land on the largest dwarf planet between Mars and Jupiter, the Ceres, in March 2015. Dawn is a space probe launched by NASA on September 27, 2007 to study two of the most massive objects of the asteroid belt, the protoplanet Vesta and the dwarf planet Ceres. In the area of healthcare, 2015 is expected to see the launch of many novel drugs for curing obesity and controlling high cholesterol. The whole genome sequencing of the archaeological remains of a primitive man found in a cave in the distant northern part of Spain is also expected to be a big scientific news in 2015. While 2015 is expected to be a major year for science at global level, it is predicted that 2015 will also prove to be a scientifically productive year at the national level. Experts like Pallava Bagla have predicted that the scientific world will look towards four major contributions from India during 2015. The first among them is an Indian GPRS system. In 2014, India successfully put in place the indigenously developed Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, shortly known as the IRNSS Navigational System, comprising 7 satellites. During 2014, India also became a part of the international consortium that will build and operate the world's largest telescope, known as the 30-meter telescope or TMT telescope. India has 10% participation in the project, and it is expected that Indian scientists will get about 30 to 35 nights proportional to their share in the project. Indian researchers will contribute towards building key components and systems for the telescope. This involves making all the 492 individual segments of the telescope behave as one single monolithic mirror. all eyes are fixed on the contributions of Indian researchers towards the completion of this project, which will be a major challenge during 2015. So will be the contributions of Indian scientists to the CERN project that aims to discover the origin of the universe. IIT Madras has been accepted as a full member of the collaborative experiments using the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. As a part of this collaboration, the Compact Muon Solenoid or CMS experiment, which is part of the larger collider at CERN, will start in March 2015. IIT Madras team is expected to specially contribute in the area of upgradation of detectors to handle increased radiation and rate of data taking. It can also be expected that India's fast breeder nuclear reactor will become active and online during 2015. The prototype reactor that has been built towards this is a huge 500 megawatt reactor that runs using plutonium as fuel. Work is going on in this area for the past 10 years. With the successful completion and implementation of this project, India will join the league of those few nations that utilize advanced technology like fast breeder reactor for power production. With these scientific challenges to look forward to, we can expect that 2015 is going to be an exciting and scientifically charged year with a lot more innovation seeing the light of the day.
And what are the contributions of science to this week's history? We shall learn in our next segment, History of Science.
The first Indian to fly into space, Rakesh Sharma, was born on 13th January 1949. In the year 1984, he was chosen by the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO for Soviet Union's Inter-Cosmos space program. Under this program, Rakesh Sharma flew aboard Soyuz T-11 spacecraft with 2 other cosmonauts. The crew spent 7 days aboard the Salyut space station, during which they conducted about 33 experimental sessions like weightlessness and remote sensing. The first meeting of the Indian Science Congress Association was held from 15th of January in 1914 at the premises of the Asiatic Society, Calcutta. Honorable Justice Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, the then Vice-Chancellor of the University of Calcutta, presided over the Congress. 105 scientists from different parts of India and abroad attended it. Altogether, 35 papers under 6 different sections were presented in the session. World-famous American zoologist Diane Fossey was born on January 16, 1932. Fossey spent considerable part of her lifetime with mountain gorillas, one of the endangered animal species. During this time, she studied various aspects of gorilla behavior and also worked towards their conservation. A 1983 book, Gorillas in the Mist, combines her scientific study of the mountain gorilla with her own personal story.
Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us, how do you like our program? You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar, C24, Qutb Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today. We'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned and think scientific.